Good afternoon, everyone. Let's see in here. First off, before I say anything else, Big Mama hasn't had her pups yet. You can see them on her side, but she hasn't gave birth yet. First one in here was Dawn S. Ha! Hit the first like. I'm here listening and working. Got some serious work this morning with hubby helping me. Got 2-21, 2 inches of snow, and it's already half melted off. Not the big 6 to 8 inches they predicted here in central Illinois. Woman of Spirit, which is Jan, says blessings to all you beautiful Quail people. Blessings, Jan. And as you can hear, my quail in the background hollering. Andy Rabbit says, hello. Jan says 4 inches of snow melted off here in southern Indiana. Yeah, we got 6 inches of snow. My shire got 5 on the big storm. Then last night, I think we got about an inch, but it's been raining since then. So it's down to nothing but slush. And right now it's 40 degrees outside. I didn't feel like going out, so I just let Lucy go out herself. And every time she came in, I had to tell her down because she was wet from the drizzle. Janice's daughter in Indianapolis is getting hammered. Yeah, that's a little bit more north. Let me check, see what it's doing at Miamisburg right now. I can do that real quick here. It's 41 in Miamisburg. And yeah, they're getting rain too. Yeah, Indianapolis is just at this where the snow is at, according to the radar. Anything south of Indianapolis is rain. And that noise you hear in the background is I have bread making right now. Nikki Jane says, howdy, ho, my boys are getting hammered up in Defiance in Bryan, Ohio. I imagine they are. Wonder how many inches they got now, Nikki. Andy says, I'm not sure how long I can stay today. Everyone is home. My rabbit shed roof has collapsed, and hubby ended up tearing a hole in it. I have to go try to find a new tarp and get it fixed. Oh, wow, Andy. And Ryan Haw, y'all, just came on a minute ago, and I haven't looked at it. Okay, Jan says sound is out, in and out. How is it now? Is my sound in and out now? Or can you hear me pretty good? I'll wait until I get a response on that. Nikki says, I'm not sure. Just got a pic he sent from work. Dan says it sounds good now. That's good. I probably had the mic too far away from me. And it was competing with the bread machine. No, I haven't called the males yet of the other ones. But I think I will be soon. Jan says, oh, homemade bread, yummy. Yeah, I don't buy store-bought bread anymore. I don't buy store-bought eggs or chicken. And I don't buy blankets. I make my own. As you can see what's on my bed over there. And I know Zach and them love their booties I made them for Christmas. So they say they're comfortable and nice and warm. So Andy, you got a lot of work to do getting your rabbit shed roof done. And there's storms heading your way, isn't there? I got itch on my arm and have to reach it the hard way. It's kind of slow today. We've only got 2 people in here. And he says, if hubby didn't use a dang shovel blade to push up on it, it would have been fine. Well, I'm not adding anything to my bread, so that beeper can just keep going. Yeah, sometimes they make those kind of mistakes, Andy. It's kind of a man problem usually. Andy says, hello, Dawn and Nikki. I don't think Dawn is here. I think Nikki is. Because it's only showing 2 people. Nikki said, hi, Andy. Andy says, yes, you're right. Yeah, it's a male problem. Jan says, we all boo-boo at times. Yep. I wonder why it's only showing 2 people here when there's 3 of you. That count is off for some reason. But it shows I have 5 likes. Andy says, I'm kind of not happy. I'd make him go out and find one. I'm kind of devious that way. You bust it, you better fix it. John says, passing through, it says 2 watching and 6 likes. I see 2 watching and 5 likes, which is, it's totally wrong because there's more than 2 in here. And he says, I lost power for a while last night and have eggs in the incubator. Did you cover it up with a blanket? It would have been fine if you would have covered them up with a blanket. Oh, you were sleeping. Well, just keep them running because you may be okay. I don't know if yours is the styrofoam incubator or the 360. Do you have an idea how long you lost power for? Well, that's rough. Oh, it's the Little Giant? If you had the hose plugged, you're fine. Because you don't need to take out the red plugs until, lockdown. And he says, "No, I don't." But I'm thinking it could not have been more than 3 hours or less. Yeah, if it wasn't more than 3 hours, then it could have been less. You should be okay. Heck, the birds get off for that long just to eat. You guys hear that stupid brat? So I got the other. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are safe, Andy. What day is it that in the incubation? And this is the fear of shipped eggs. Yeah, what day of incubation was it? You set them Saturday? Yeah, I still say you should be all right. As long as you keep them in that bathroom, right? And you've had heat and everything, so they should be fine. I've got a loud rooster today. Yes, in the bathroom. Jen asks, "Do you candle them at lockdown? If so, let us know how that goes for you, please." And she's talking to you, Andy. Andy says, "I sure hope so." Candle them at lockdown if you normally candle 'em at lockdown, and let us know how it goes. Andy says she sure will. Yeah, this weather is playing heck with me between my ear and my sinuses. Oh, and Jan, she does candle them. If you put them in Saturday, the 21st, they go on lockdown on the 4th of February. Jan says, "That's Andy, that's great." It's just the same rooster keeps crowing. He must be wanting my attention. And he says, "I think that's right. I have it written down." I look at my calendar and you said it was Saturday. That would have put it at the 21st. And by my calendar, it would be the 4th. I don't count. I just look. Not time is a perfect brat. Jan says, "I'm rendering lard today. Took it out of the freezer yesterday from a pig I purchased last year." That is great, Jan. Are you doing it in your, slow cooker? I have to get out my beef fat and start rendering that. Jan says, "No, heavy steel pot." Okay. See, I'm gonna do mine in my slow cooker. Rabbit says, "Are you going to save the cracklins?" So are you gonna save the cracklins, Jan? Andy loves the cracklins. And he says, "Yes, cracklins go into cornbread." Now that's cool. Now that is really cool. Jan says, "I'm grinding the corn in a few days." Now that's wonderful. Are you gonna make it into corn flour or cornmeal? She says, "I wanted the whole experience." That's the only way to do it. Do you have a hand grinder or is yours an electric grinder? Because I had the hand grinder that you clamp onto your table. She says, "I can make grits, cornmeal, and corn flour." Well, that's good. Well, to get grits, all you got to do is add lye to the corn. She goes, "Yes, a hand grinder." See, we both doing it the same way, Jan. I'm gonna grind up some of my amaranth and make a flatbread with it, and I'll have to video that somehow. Now, I need ideas for videos, you guys. I know one person asked for a video of my setup. Jan says, "Yeah, lye is used for hominy, if I'm not mistaken." Yeah, to me, when you say grits, I'm thinking hominy because it's hominy grits. Do you like fried, oh, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, fried grits. And he says, "I wanna see a video on how you defeather your quail." Well, that's gonna be a long time in the making, Andy, because well, I still have to see how many males I got to females. So that may be a while. Yeah, fried mush, that's right, Nikki James. I love fried mush with a little honey on top of it instead of syrup. You put a fried egg on top of it and honey on top of the whole mess. And it says, "Yes, I know, but still sometime." Jan says, Yes, I love grits. When I make them, I put them in a container, let them refrigerate overnight, next day slice them up and fry it for fried mash. Exactly, Jan. Andy says, "I can't stand grits." You oughta try it fried, Andy. You might like it fried because it's a whole different thing when you fry it in a little bit of lard. Nikki says, "I love it too." And a slice of bacon or ham on the side. Yum. In fact, you can fry it in bacon grease. You fry up your bacon, leave the grease in there, cut up your mush and fry it and in that bacon grease. It is delish. Then you fry your eggs on in it, what's left, and put them on top and put it all on the plate and pour a little honey over it, and you got heaven. Jan says, "I eat mush with corn cob syrup. I made it 2 years ago." I never heard of corn cob syrup. You're gonna have to share that recipe with us, Jan. 'Cause that would be interesting as heck. Well, so my bread is rising. Woman of Spirit says, "You can cut the corn off the cob, keep the cobs and put them in boiling water and let the water reduce down and use that to make your syrup with sugar." Yeah, that would be good. I knew what you meant, Jan. That's why I read it as cobs instead of carbs. Boy, I wish I had a place where I could plant some, sorghum. Nikki says, "I found a recipe for a quick fried mush. Haven't tried it yet, but hoping to this weekend." Well, let us know how it goes, Jan. I mean, Nikki. Let us go how the quick fried mush is. Lucy, go lay down, sweetie. Quit your pacing. You already been out. Oh, we got another who just spoke up. See, after I make this bread, then I gotta clean out my bread machine and make some dough for some English muffins for tomorrow morning. Andy says, "I hate when I have to wear shoes and socks, LOL." Yeah, I wish I could go barefooted, but it's not safe to go barefooted where I live. Okay, Lucy, I pet you enough. Now go lay down a bit. Let me see here. Here's you spoon it in the pan, so I'm curious how well it will hold together. Okay. As you can see, I'm sewing another pair of booties up. They go to my worker for his birthday, which is Sunday. Now, I've been watching Max Miller's Tasting History, and he's come up with a couple of ancient recipes that I'm interested in. And he says, I'm listening, but I'm going to try to drive. Okay, don't remark unless you're stopped, Andy, because we want you to be safe. Someone needs to tag Steve. He's not here yet. And neither's Ed Got Bait. See, because I can't share once I start the live. So I'll have this booties sewed up before the day's over with, and then I'll give them to him early so he can start wearing them. And that'll also keep me from smoking too much. Yeah, they have, Jen says, Nikki, that sounds like it will work as long as the grits is cooked until really thick. Yeah, and I would let them cool for about a half an hour in the pan. When I cooked my grits, I cooked it until it was the consistency of pudding. I think I may be fixing one of my quail cages into guinea pig cages for the breeding sets. Then using the Dale's Quail's 3-tier wooden ones just for the grow out pens. Does anybody have any rabbit babies? this week? Nikki says, "If it gives me mush without the wait time, I will be overjoyed. I'm terrible at pre-planning meals. I'd rather be outside." Nikki, I don't pre-plan meals. I throw things out of the freezer into the refrigerator and decide what I'm gonna make when I look at the refrigerator. That's the way I've always been. Because every time I tried pre-planning meals, when it comes time to fix that meal, I decide I'm not in the mood for that. Now the guinea pigs are talking. And those babies are getting big. But I'm gonna keep them on their mamas for 4 weeks instead of 3. Nikki says, "Exactly right." About the way I do food or about the guinea pigs? The koi they grow like a quail. They're about double size. You're talking about yeah, about the food. Yep. You make out a schedule of what days you're gonna have what food, and when it comes time to that day, you say, "I'm not in the mood for that. I don't want that." It even looks gross when you look at it. But this week, I've got to process some koi. I had to find out if I can get some, dry ice to put in a chamber because it's gonna be hard for me to break their necks, and that's how you either do it. Some people shock them. Some people use carbon dioxide, and some people wring their necks. But I'm gonna skin them to see how their fur turns out. I'll treat the skin and, dry it in the freeze dryer. Do an experiment and see if there's a fast way to do it. Nikki says she needs to process some rabbits. Nikki, do you use the broomstick method? Jan says, "I don't have any rabbits bred right now. I'm down to 1 doe and 1 buck." Andy says, "I hope I don't have any baby rabbits born today." Yeah, that would be kinda rough with no cover on them. I knew what you meant, Jan. You don't have to worry. I read fluent Taiwanese. Taiwanese. Jan says using this little microphone thingy on my iPad doesn't spell everything correctly. I know word correct is not correct. There's sometimes when I say a word on my phone for it to type, it doesn't even come close to what I'm saying. Alrighty. She says she'll be right back, Jan said. David Lister, morning, V. Sorry, can't stay on. Snow deposited a tree on our fence in the backyard. Free firewood. Yeah, let's hope it didn't do much damage, David. And how much snow did you get? Nikki says, I don't know what his thoughts are on it. It will be our first time. He hasn't explained how we're doing this to me yet. That will come. Be when I go out to do it. You know, men, yeah. I've heard of some using a BB gun, a pellet gun. Yeah. Some using a broomstick. Some of them's got the rabbit catch that they use. And he says, I like the choke chain method for calling rabbits. David said about 4-inch, a garden fence, so not too bad. Yeah, you better get that wood because you know that's going to be good for next winter, not this winter. Because you know you got to season that for about a year. I know when we had the storm, we got more. We got an inch more in Franklin than they got in Miamisburg, which surprised me. I figured they would have got more in Miamisburg. David says, one chick so far in this lockdown. Later, Gator. Happy hatching, David. And he says, there's a few good videos on YouTube about choke chain. Is that like using the kind of chain that you would use holding a dog? You know, the choke chain on a chain? I could probably use that same method with the koi. And he says, with my bad back, it works the best for me. I can adjust the height at a minute when needed. He says, I will look that up, Andy. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Here's a bunch of them, Nikki. My guess would be he decides to use the pellet gun, but who knows? Yeah, a little pellet pistol right up against the head. Well, one thing about that, you can use the brains and, dry your hides. You're welcome, Nikki. Because every time I think something's a good idea, I look at it. Now I'm gonna add that to watch later. Okay, I got all the ones I wanted saved to watch later. I'll look at it and see what's best for me. Of course, I don't have any chains right now, so if that if I decide that's the best one, they may have to wait another week. They may have to grow another week before I dispatch them. And he says, I asked the butcher for some brains. He saved me some when he butchered some pigs. Yeah, I don't have a butcher around here. I don't even know where the nearest butcher would be. There goes another crow, another male. Each rooster has its own crow. Nikki says, yes, weather will depend on it here. Everything is so muddy, and the snow melting means even more. Yeah, even more mud. Well, see, I have to do all my processing here in the house because I can't do it outside when it be an apartment. Might offend somebody's sensibilities. And it's too cold out anyhow. So, Andy, what size cages do you use on your Havanas? Or how much room do you think they need? Lucy, cut it out. So I'm sewing the tail up here on the booty so that the heel is square instead of pointed. Two by two is good for them. Okay. So I have 18-inch by 36, so that should be good for them. And I'll be able to attach their water and feed bowls. It's gonna be slightly slanted, but that shouldn't bother them. No different than walking on a hill, a slight hill. And he says they still have room with the next box and with babies. Yep, that's what I figured. Boy, that rule is now loud. And he says, yes, that would be good for them. Nikki says, Quail, we have done inside a couple times, but no way are we doing rabbits inside. The smell would get to me too bad. Even the fresh deer meat brought in gets kind of hefty at times. Well, I have a big exhaust fan that's got to go back into the window because when I didn't have Quail, I took it out of the window. So I got to put that exhaust fan back in the first day it gets over 50 degrees because the guinea pigs are getting the smell is getting a little bit bad to me. And so you see on this, you put the tab up here. Then you turn it back inside out. And there's the finished booty. And Jan says she's back. Welcome back, Jan. See, a lot of times I use AFK, which means away from keyboard, and BAK for back at keyboard. Nikki says, that looks comfy. Yeah, they're warm and comfy. They are, I'm using a 5-weight yarn, which is chunky. And he says, if you mean the cage floor is at a slight, maybe you can just tilt the cage to make the floor flat. I have to figure out how I can do that. I may end up having to turn the cages upside down, which doesn't matter to me. Jan says, I've been jarring up the lard. Ah, that's good. And he says, rabbits can be litter box trained in the cages. So can the koi. But I don't know. They got trays underneath them, so I just do the trays. Yeah, so what I'll have to do is try to get that one taken apart and put it upside down, and that way it'll work for them. Yeah. See what notification that was. We'll video it. And he says, "Yeah, the koi poop in anything I put in the cage, even a house for them. I guess it's litter box trained, LOL." I had one I had to put their on the young ones, I had to put their food bowl up on the cage because I had one male that would go pee in the food dish every time. Jan says, "Can you use a brick to level the cage?" No, they're Winola Ranch cages, so I will be turning it upside down. And that way the egg roll-out's on top instead of on the bottom, so I don't have to worry about babies getting out and falling to their death. So I can put litter boxes in all the cages really, and Andy says, "Yeah, she had a few rabbits like that." And she butchered them. Well, see, I'm not sure which one of the 2 males it is, because I think I had 2 males and a female. And they only did it in a food dish, so well, Jen, you can add your own sand area to a Winola Ranch cage if you had something that can cut through the metal. Um, or you can just put a sand container in there, but you would have a mess when they do the sand all over the place, that's for sure. Or you can actually put one on the back of the cage. No, because then you got the water troughs. Nikki said, "My son just messaged and said they are on a level 2 right now. Oh, level 2 snow emergency." See, this is what it looks like before I start sewing it together. Yeah, that one I didn't do long enough. Hmm. Oh, I know what that is. Nikki says, I use a small cat liner box for sand in my pens. Jan says, wow, Nikki, that must be bad and a lot of snow. Yep. Okay, that's for the foot. Mm. And then for the back. Oh, yeah, I got enough threads there. I don't have to cut any more threads. So that'll work out perfectly. Yeah, that's usually when you get 4 or 6 inches. And he says the busy roads, they have scraped the snow already, makes for nice driving. Well, that's good. Around here, our landlord don't scrape nothing. They don't do the parking lots and they don't do the sidewalks. Like he says, yeah, he didn't say how much they got. Even though that was my question, LOL, level 3 is the worst. And you said Indianapolis, Nikki? Echo? How much snow did Indianapolis, Indiana get?
Snow is very likely in Indianapolis, Indiana today at 2 p.m. There's a 79% chance. By the way, there's a winter weather advisory in effect until Wednesday, January 25th, 7 p.m.
Echo? How much snow did Indianapolis, Indiana get today?
Snow is very likely in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Echo, stop. You're not listening. He says he didn't say how much they got, even though that was my question. LOL. Level 3 is the worst. Andy says, but I'm not driving right now. We stopped to get something to eat. That sounds like a good idea. Stop and get something to eat. This is the lunchtime version. Jan says, my daughter is in Indianapolis, and an hour ago, they had 11 inches on the ground. Oh, wow. Nikki says he's in Defiance, Ohio. Echo, how much snow did Defiance, Ohio get last night?
I only have weather information for the next 10 days.
She don't know. She only has the future weather. Well, Indianapolis, an hour ago, they had 11 inches on the ground. That is almost unheard of. So if Indianapolis got 11 inches, Defiance probably has more. Because Defiance is closer to the Great Lakes. I know, you got mommy itis. So besides repairing rabbit hutches, has anybody got anything else planned for the future or for today? Nikki says the pic he sent, it is snowing heavy there right now. I agree. He's probably getting it bad. And he says, my 6-year-old granddaughter wants to process quail, she told me. Well, she can start learning if her parents are okay with it. Um, Lane is about 6 years old when he was at QuailCon and learned. And he says, I had to decide what would be the best way for her to do it. Well, you can do plucking or you can let her do the skinning. Does she get queasy when she's around dead animals? Jan says, today rendering large, future growing mushrooms on some oak logs. That's great. Jen, are you getting the kit or you just get some spores? And he says her dad is okay with it, but her mom is a no. Well, she lives with dad, so I'm going with him. Haha. Yep. If she lives with her dad and not with her mom, then go with the dad. Because mom may be afraid of daughter learning self-sufficiency. Yeah. It's the custodial parent you have to go with. Jen says, I purchased the plugs. Well, that's cool. Are you gonna shred up that, oak wood? I would like to get one of those mushroom kits. I think that would be neat. Andy says, a kitten died. She found it. She got my oldest daughter over and says, look, the kitten is dead. Wonder what happened to it. Did you guys end up dissecting the kitten to find out? Jan says, shit take lion's mane, oysters. I had to drill holes in the logs. Oh, that sounds so good. I'll be right back. I have to answer a call to nature, then get me some more coffee because my coffee is out. And Steve's not here to give me to give you guys coffee. Okay, now to get the coffee. Okay, I'm back. Andy says, yeah, I agree with you on the mom not liking the idea. Yeah, she wants her daughter to be dependent on society instead of herself. Jan says, oh, and hen of the woods mushrooms. Oh, that all sounds so delicious, Jan. Nikki says, yummy mushrooms. Andy says, haha, no, I didn't. LOL, kitten. I would have done it just out of curiosity's sake. Because she was curious and now what did I knock on the floor? My needle. Don't want to lose that. I already lost one of these. Nikki says, today is my list and garden plans day. Going through seeds to see what I have and what I need. Mainly, I think I need a better way to organize my seeds. You need a tackle box to do that. And he just said, look at me. Now, the one that I really like how the crow sounds is the one that says, oh my God. And he doesn't say it, he doesn't speak very often, but when he does, you know it. Now, see, I have amaranth grain and I forgot what the other one was. I think I may end up putting some amaranth into sprout. Try some of the sprouts before and then plant them from there into a pot in the animal room. Oh, I gotta show you guys my my sweet potato slips. Here are my sweet potato slips. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got at least 6 of them. Check on the bread. It's getting ready to go into the ferment 3. So like I said, I got my sweet potato slips already started. And Nick says, wow, they are growing good. Yep. Ed says, "Hi, Verna and everyone." Well, good morning, Ed. I see you're awake now. A little bit earlier than last week. And Nikki said hi to Ed. Jan says, "Nikki, when you get yours organized, tell me what you did. I have so many seeds, it's hard to know what I have." Another thing you can get is one of those little file boxes. Andy says, "I'm thinking about doing a fodder of grass on the side of the quail cage so that it grows into the cages. I would do it on top of the cage and let it grow some before before you put it on the side of the cage." And Jan says, "Hey, Ed." Nikki says, "That's my problem." Let me get out the sprouts that are ready to feed to the quail today. This one will go to the quail, and this one will be divided with for the koi. And I'll do that after live stream. Let's see. That says I second napped, LOL. I was up at 8:30, ate around 12:30, then fell asleep. Yep, yeah, you fell asleep a half hour before we started. Then that says, "Hi, Andy." So this will go towards the two mamas cages. I'll divide this in half. And then this will go into two quail cages. And if there's any left, it'll go into the other guinea pig cage. Yep, last time you made it about 10 minutes before the end of the live stream, and today you made it 50 minutes before the end. I know Steve's not here. I should call him and be ornery. Say, "Hey, Steve, you're being missed." In case he's at work, I stopped it. Nikki says, "I was thinking some type of file box. Needs to have a good sealed lid, though, because of the humidity here." Yep. That says, "Put 2 pounds of shrimp raspberries and 24 ice cream sandwiches in the freeze dryer at 10 a.m. right after Walmart delivered it. LOL." Yeah, I've got to put some beef chunks into the freeze dryer for Lucy's treats, and eggplant and apples in the freeze dryer, and I'll do that this afternoon. I was supposed to do it last night, but I was too tired. And then I gotta put on some more water in the distiller before I even do that. Which I think I'll put the distiller into the laundry room. Since I'm not doing laundry, it can go in there. And in about an hour, I'll be having some fresh bread. And Jan says, Nikki, I use Ziploc bags for some seeds. Yeah, but you know, you got to put one of those oxygen absorbers in there, because if you have oxygen absorbers in there, it can't produce water. Nikki says, I do have some in Ziplocs, all in containers, but spread over 3 containers because I didn't have a big enough one. I got Perfect Brat going. I had a friend up last night playing some rummy. And the one that keeps yelling, stupid brat, kept hollering. And I yelled in there, you guys quiet down. Then I got the one pipe up says, okay. My friend and I both busted out laughing. Nikki says every year she collects more seeds. Jan says, Nikki, where are you located? You want some? You want some seeds? You want some sprouts? Nope. Okay. It's Perfect Brat. All right, come on up. Okay. Yes. Yes. Lucy has to say hi. That says 12 ice cream sandwiches fit on a tray with just a bit of space left at the bottom for one more. So where if you put a slit in the paper wrapper, you don't have to remove the paper on the sandwiches. Excuse me, Ed, what I do is I cut them in half and leave them in the plastic and do it that way. Instead of giving a whole ice cream sandwich. Jan says, Nikki, so are you in 6A or 6B? Because she's in Missouri. You got your knee on the wrong place. There we go. Yeah, that knee was hurting mommy's boo boo. Yeah. You're spoiled rotten. Yes, you are. You're spoiled rotten. Are you okay? Okay, you're hurting mommy's leg. Oh, I know. Let's up this way. There we go. There, now it's not on the sore spots. I said just lost space. Just lost power. Oh no. Lucy's got the hiccups. Okay, go lay down, Lucy. Off. 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 I know you love me, but it's time to get off. You're hurting my leg. So, Ed, you just lost power while you were processing? Oh boy, that's a pain. Is anyone still here? It shows 3 people in the room. And 5 likes. Nikki says, is it 6? When I looked it up, it said 5B. At 5B. Oh boy. Yeah, Missouri can be anywhere from 5 to 7. Okay. You're Nikki's at 6A. Which is the same garden zone I'm in, 6A. Go lay down, baby. Jess says, Nikki, so you're same as my grow zone. Yeah, so you're all the same zone I'm in, 6A. Hmm. Nikki says, I get all kinds of answers. Bellflower, Missouri. And Woman of Spirit says, Nikki, if you want seeds you can't get, I may have some for you. Nikki says, nice. I may take you up on that. Have to see what I got going on here. I'm afraid if I plant tomatoes this year, I'll have the same problems I had last time I planted them. People were stealing my tomatoes. They were picking them when they were green and frying them instead of letting me have my tomatoes as red ones. What is your zip code, Nikki? Nikki, just let me know. That is so cool of you, Jan, to share your seeds. What I want to know is who harvests seeds at the end of the year? Andy says, Nikki, I'm in West Plains. Nikki says, oh, I had a bunch of people last year wanting green tomatoes. Well, they were stealing them off my plant. It was so frustrating to me. So if I want to grow tomatoes, I'd have to figure out how to grow them in the house and have to pollinate them myself. Nikki says her zip code is 43333. Let me see. Let me see. It's saying here you're 5B. My mail lady, I caught her with an armful of green tomatoes. Oh, I would have been PO'd. Jan says, I get seeds as I harvest plants. That's great. Jan says, I want everyone to grow food that is good for them. Nikki says, no, to my green ones, especially last year, had trouble with the heat. Jan says, 5B is close enough to seed exchange. Yeah. Well, Toledo, Ohio is where I'm from, and that's is both 5B and 6A. Nikki says, I do collect some seeds. Now what do I do with that? Okay. I may plot plant some sage seeds this year. Well, and Jan says, I put veggies on a small table on the porch for mailman. Also quail eggs. That's cool. I don't have a porch. I got a landing, but I don't have a porch. Do they give you feedback on your quail eggs or your veggies, Jan? Nikki says, yes, 5B, but keep looking because down further it says 6A. Yeah, it depends on where you live in the zip code because that's how Toledo is. Which means plant your tomatoes outside on Mother's Day weekend. But you want to start them February 2nd or thereabouts. Jan says, when I'm out working in the different garden areas, if someone stops and says, what is that plant? I will tell them what it is now. Say, wow, that looks great. I will give them some. That's great. But I have very limited planting area. When someone steals all my plants off one of my only tomato plant, then that's a no-go. I'm willing to share, but don't take it all. Jazz's mailman is thrilled to pieces. That means he should be delivering your eggs and everything. That is wonderful. The worst part, the person that was stealing all my tomatoes didn't even live here. It was a friend of the girl that lived here, that lived in the one where the now lives paranoid schizophrenic. Jan says, I've never had anyone come and get freely. Yeah, well, without my plant being right outside the bottom stairs door, they can get them without me knowing if I didn't have my window open and wasn't sitting at my dining room table. But who's gonna sit at their dining room table all the time? Just a minute. You wanna go outside? Is that what you're saying? Go outside. Laura. Lucy decided she had to go potty early. And says to slow down a bit and maybe we should call it a day. Jan says, I will say if it ever happens, the person will be picking pellets out of their rear end. Yeah, but I don't have that either, because then I'd be doing like Granny Clampett and putting it full of rock salt. That way it stings going in and coming out, and all the while as well. Nikki says collecting seeds is something I just started a couple years ago. A work in progress. Last year, my collection did well for the first time using what I collected. So we shall see if the others do well. Yep. Now remember, some seeds have to be in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks before they will germinate. Andy says this summer was so hot, I don't get many tomatoes, so I was okay with her taking a few. I didn't have enough to can or anything, so what I did have was too many to eat myself at once. Well, see, Andy, that's when you use your freeze dryer. You slice up those bad boys and put them in the freeze dryer. Then when you rehydrate them, they taste just like they just came out of the garden. Nikki says, yeah, I've not had a problem with people taking from my garden, but agree they would be picking out pellets here too. Yep, yep, yep. See, but I'm in the city. You can't fire a gun off in the city because whether you're right or wrong, you get in trouble for it. Now let me check on my bread and see how much time I got left. It's rising good. And I got an hour and 12 minutes. Andy says, I have only saved purple green beans. Nikki says, I didn't get enough for canning either because of the heat. Yeah, but see, if you don't get enough for the heat, if you get a few, you can always, if it's more than you can eat, but not enough to can, and you have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry them. And freeze dried tomatoes taste like they were fresh out the vine without the mess, without the juice squirting all over you. If you don't rehydrate them, and if you do rehydrate them, it's just like a fresh tomato. And he says the heat was crazy, yes. Jan says, I did have enough tomatoes to can. I covered my tomato plants with shade cloth, or my tomato plants would have died from the heat. Yep. Just like the shade cloth that Ed donated to QuailCon. That would have worked. Andy says if it wasn't for rabbit poop, I don't think any tomatoes would have made it. Wow. I bet it's gonna be a hot summer this year too. Jan says, "In the future, we're all going to have to kind of change things up to have a decent garden." Yeah, you may end up having to purchasing shade cloth and planting earlier. Dickie says, what did do well was my green beans, jalapenos, cayenne peppers, and green peppers. So true, so true. Because those grow further south as well. So they're more used to the heat. And he says, every tomato I had died, but the ones was planted in the pure rapid poop. I never even watered them. Oh, and I got to go close the door. Good girl, Lucy. I got to get Lucy her treat. Now that is interesting that you didn't even have to water the ones in that were planted in pure rabbit poop. Rabbit pellets. I'll just have to grow my garden inside. The tomatoes. And he says, I planted green peppers for the guinea pigs. This was the first year they ever did anything. That was really neat. I had to order more guinea pig feed from Chewy because I can't get the 50-pound bags around here, and they want too much for the 5 and 10-pound bags. They want just about the same price of guinea pig feed. So I set up with Chewy so that I get a bag delivered every 3 or 4 months. And he says I had them in 55-gallon barrels with holes around it in the rabbit yard, so I did water them. Vicky says, every year I think I'm gonna get planted earlier. Every year it's so wet I can't get anything in the ground. I live in a low zone and I would almost swear it's old swamp ground. You know, Nikki, in Northwest Ohio, in the Toledo area, it is the black swamp area. So I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna have to take a picture on how my arrow garden's going. And I think I may end up making another arrow garden. Or maybe I'll do a cracky garden. Not answering anybody from Louisiana because it's a spam call. Try try I'm gonna say try some grow bags where you set the bottom in the swampy area and just let it grow. Or mounding your earth so that it gets up higher. If I get everything organized in the animal room, the way I'm thinking. Yeah, Nikki says, yeah, I'm actually from that area. That's where I grew up, Van Wert, Ohio. Yeah. And he says, you can do a video on it, Verna. On my arrow garden or on doing a cracky garden? I may do a homemade arrow garden instead of the cracky. Jan says the ground here has been too cold to plant before mid-April or later. Yeah, around here, I figure between the end of April to Mother's Day. If I don't get everything planted by if I don't get the garden started by Mother's Day weekend, then might as well forget it. Which is the second Sunday in May. And he says, Nikki, my rabbit yard never dried out this summer. I'd say move your rabbits and plant in the rabbit yard. Nikki says she grew up in Van Wert and Paulding counties. Toledo's in Lucas County. So it's Oregon, Ohio, which is the last place I lived up there. And he says it was soggy all summer. Some of it finally dried out about 1 week. Then it rained, LOL. Nikki said, yikes. And he says, why not on both, Verna? Well, I had to decide which way I'm going to go. See, if I go the arrow garden way, then I'll end up using fish aerator, a fish tank aerator. If I do the old cracky method, and then I'll just have a big barrel in front of in there. I'm very limited on space, Andy. That's my problem. And he says, I can't move them. It's the only yard I have. Okay. Plant underneath them. Now hear the koi chattering to each other. Well, you all, it's been fun, but it is about time for me to go. So you all have a blessed day. And I'll catch y'all later. Says women of spirit, when you do plant peas and brassicas. Some of the brassicas you can start planting now. You can always put plastic over it to keep the snow off of it. But y'all have a blessed week, and I'll catch you Saturday, if not before then.